I'm Angela Gonzalez, reporting from Phoenix. We're talking with the community about Phoenix Police Department. Ma'am, what do you think?
Oh, I love them. They're our local heroes. We've had some problems around here with break-ins and people using drugs on the streets. The police work with our community to have a presence in our neighborhood and keep our streets safe.
Thank you, Phoenix Police.
Gracias a la Policía de Phoenix.
Thank you, Phoenix Police.
Rise to serve. Find more today at joinphxpd.com. Protect and serve with the elite.
Sponsored by the City of Phoenix.
What we love about our ability to help patients at QC Kinetics is seeing their pure delight at finally being able to do the things they enjoy without pain.
I had a patient start treatment with me. He wanted to be able to be active again and do some of his sports that he really enjoyed.
Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics, treats patients with chronic joint pain using their body's own biologics. The goal? Get them back to living their best lives without surgery or harmful drugs.
He came back and he goes, what I wasn't expecting was the ability to play on the floor with my grandchildren. Even just saying it now, I have goosebumps because it's changing those small moments that you take for granted.
Don't let joint pain rob you of those moments. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It just warms my heart to be able to help people live the life they want to live and get those small moments back.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-691-6641. That's 602-691-6641. 602-691-6641.
Geico knows there's a home you and a road you. Right now you're hearing home you. He's not in an RV. He's at home, watching the great outdoors on TV.
For the lone gazelle, there sadly is no escape.
Meanwhile, road you always has an escape in an RV covered with Geico's added 24/7 emergency roadside service, so he can explore more of the great outdoors in real life, except maybe the ravine where the gazelle got stuck. Road you should avoid that. For more road you time, get more with Geico.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Hey, Tempe, your new Sam's Club is opening soon.
I love the savings that Sam's Club has to offer.
It makes it easy to feed a family of 5.
That gas pump there is amazing.
The scan and go option just sets Sam's Club apart.
Today's the day to join the club. Your club, Sam's Club.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
The Thursday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you here. Producer Evan behind the glass taking your phone calls, 480-864-1060. We appreciate you joining us here today for the next 2 hours on the program. You can stream the show on the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can watch us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Lots of ways for you to join us here today on what normally wouldn't be a very newsworthy time of year, even though football camps have started all across the league. It is a very newsworthy day here. We are a week away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Some unfortunate news in Cardinals camp. The Suns are doing some moves to upgrade their roster, upgrade their depth that we're going to get to here today on the program. But I think we need to start with me issuing an apology because this may have been my fault.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
What did I say yesterday, Producer Evan? I said, all I care about during training camp, all that matters, I don't care how guys look in the 7-on-7 drill. I don't care how many picks or touchdowns a guy throws in a red zone drill. Just be healthy. Just get to the start of the season and have everybody that you're supposed to have ready to go. And while I don't necessarily believe in the idea of jinxes, I do understand the timing of me mentioning it yesterday and then later on in the day us finding out that Walter Nolen, first-round pick of the Arizona Cardinals, is going to miss the start of training camp with a calf injury. So I think while I don't want to put all the blame on me, I will at least apologize for putting it out there because it happened rather quickly after I said it yesterday. A calf injury that he suffered while training in the offseason, according to head coach Jonathan Gannon. The team would not put a timetable on his return. The phrase that was used was miss some time, and Jonathan Gannon would not rule out that Walter Nolen could miss the start of the regular season. And unfortunately, it feels a little bit like deja vu, because wasn't it just last summer a first-round defensive line pick from the Arizona Cardinals missing training camp, missing the start of the season with a calf injury? Didn't we just do this last offseason with Darius Robinson? We're doing it again now with Walter Nolen. It just feels like a very bad case of deja vu. Now, let's talk about the good and the bad of this. The bad, obviously, is you have a rookie player that we all think can be incredibly impactful for the Arizona Cardinals this season, that is going to not be able to get up to speed with the NFL game, with the way this defense is going to utilize him. He's sidelined. He can't do anything. He can't get ready to go with his brand new team for the start of the season. That's a bad thing. That's going to set him behind the eight ball. We saw last year what the injury did to Darius Robinson. Last year for Darius Robinson was basically a redshirt year as a pro. Was unable to give the Cardinals anything of value, really, when he was finally able to get back into the lineup in the second half of the season. So that is obviously a concern with Walter Nolen, that while Jonathan Gannon did say it was different than the Darius Robinson situation, that's the thing that comes to mind for all of us. We lived through that last year. I can remember sitting in this chair telling everybody, hey, Darius Robinson's coming off of a major injury. He's a rookie. You're starting him, week 11, week 12 of the season. It's going to take time for him to ramp up. This whole year's a wash. Now, I don't know if we're there yet with Walter Nolen. Let's see how this process plays out. But again, that's where your mind first races to yesterday. So that's the bad. The good, unlike last year, the Arizona Cardinals were not equipped to handle a Darius Robinson injury. They did not have the depth along that defensive line to weather that storm at the start of the season. You're less concerned about that this season because this team has Darius Robinson. They invested money this offseason in Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson, two veterans at the position that raised the floor and the ceiling of that group. You are much better equipped to deal with this. You never want to deal with an injury of this magnitude this early in the season. And yes, I do believe this is a serious injury, even though it doesn't look like it's going to cost Walter Nolen his entire rookie season. Just a bad start for a rookie that we all think can make an impact. It's going to take him a little bit longer to make that impact on a defense that we know needs to be better. So this is significant. Do I think the season is over? Do I think the season is doomed before we've even played a game? No. But the Cardinals are equipped to handle this a lot better than they were able to handle the Darius Robinson injury a year ago. He suffered that injury in August, so a little bit later in the calendar, and he missed the first 11 games of the season. So when is Walter Nolen able to get back on the field and start training? When are we able to see Walter Nolen in a regular season game? All of that remains up in the air. You don't love that the head coach wouldn't rule out that he would be unavailable for week 1 of the regular season. So we are 2 days into camp, and the Cardinals are already dealing with something serious, something that's a little bit of a speed bump, a roadblock right now. Fortunately for them, they've been down this road before, and they're better equipped to deal with this situation this go around.
I was going to say that. You know now what it'll look like just because you dealt with this last year. And there's 2 ways that'll help the team. One, you understand, okay, losing Walter Nolen, what are we losing up front? Where do we need to make an addition? Do we have somebody in-house that can fill that role? All of those questions need to be answered first. The second one is, if it is week 2 or week 3, how can we get Walter Nolen up to speed on what the NFL game is going to look like without a full training camp? And what does that look like? Does that look like getting him snaps on just first downs early in the year? and then ramping him up later in the year. Whatever process you need to do, you dipped your feet in the water last year and hopefully learned from it.
Right.
To move forward with Walter Nolen in whatever situation you need to.
Yeah, Darius Robinson, when they brought him back, they brought him along slowly. And we told everybody, listen, you're going to see that Darius Robinson is not going to be out there every single snap. He's going to have a very tiny menu of plays that he is out there for. The workload is going to be small. And then once they see how he reacts and recovers from that, they'll add more to his plate. That would be how you would handle an injury like that, regardless of how long the player has been in the league. But then you add on top of it that it's a rookie who didn't get a full training camp, didn't get to play in the preseason, and now is walking in to game 12 of the season trying to help a team that at that point was trying to make the postseason. It's a lot. So you went through that last season. It should inform the way you put together this plan. There's also a difference that Walter suffered this injury while he was training on his own. So it happened a little bit ago. So a longer runway for him to be able to train and be ready and not miss 11 games the way Darius Robinson did. And the team is saying that it is different than the injury that Darius Robinson suffered a year ago. So that's also encouraging potentially that it will be a shorter runway. But some of the same pitfalls of a rookie player not getting a full training camp, not getting that syllabus lesson, right? Those first couple of weeks in college where you're getting up to speed with your professor and what's expected of you, right? He doesn't get that now. And so he's going to be thrown right into the fire. Now, first round pick, you expect him to be able to hit the ground running, but that's a tough ask of Walter Nolen. So I don't know, not necessarily the worst way for the season to start for the Arizona Cardinals, but obviously not the best because it wasn't just Walter Nolen. Bilal Nichols, BJ Ojulari, put on the PUP list, the active PUP list ahead of camp on Tuesday. More procedural moves than anything else. Both of those guys are still recovering from injuries that took place last season. Nichols played in just 6 games because of a neck injury, and Ojulari's coming off the torn ACL that he had last year in training camp. And so injuries already a focus, a main focus of the Cardinals training camp, and not where you want to start 2 days in.
No, and
a week or two maybe before the first injury, but no, day one.
I understand it's not Kyler Murray, but Walter Nolen was supposed to and still can be an impact player for this football team in his first year. And I'm not saying they need him to be an impact player, but that was an area they really struggled in. Stopping the run is going to be a focus for this defense. And without him, gosh, you're just thinning out a position and already that you need to make major adjustments and additions to in the offseason. It's a big hit.
Just going to ask a lot of Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson in the early stages of the season, although I think that was the plan anyway. I don't think Walter Nolen and Darius Robinson were going to be the quote-unquote starters along the defensive line.
No.
I think they were already going to be with a smaller workload capacity at the beginning of the season, and the veterans were going to lead the charge. I said this either last week or the week before that as the season progressed, I think it would kind of flip, that those veterans would be relied on less and less, and the workload for the young players would increase as the season goes on. So that can still be the plan. You just have to adjust a little bit. And while trying to get ready for the season and get ready for that opening week contest and the grind of a 17-game schedule, you don't want too many things moving on you this early. You don't want to have to make this many adjustments this early because we all know the adjustments that you're going to have to make over the course of a season. We know that guys are going to miss time. We know that there are going to be weeks where you may not have your starting right tackle or your starting center, or James Conner might be a little banged up and he gets a week off or something like that. Without knowing the specifics, that those types of things, those types of scenarios pop up over the course of a season. The last thing you want is before you even get to the first preseason game, you're dealing with a wrench being thrown into your plan, because Walter Nolen was very clearly, obviously part of the Cardinals' plan at this position because they overhauled the entire group, the entire room this offseason, and they have been dealt a major blow. Might be a little hyperbolic, might be a little strong, but this is not nothing. This is not a nothing burger.
No. And you're going to have to ask more now of guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, like Calais Campbell. That switch may not happen with Walter Nolen this year now, right? Or if it does happen, maybe it's later than we projected or that the team projected. So you might need more out of Calais Campbell. Does that differentiate how you approach training camp with him? Are you looking to lengthen him out rather than kind of go full go here in the first few weeks? All of those things become a factor too.
And because this happened when it did, I think the Cardinals are always going to err on the side of caution. They're always going to take their time with this. Walter Nolen is not going to be rushed back, especially because he's a rookie, especially because the injury happened here before training camp even began. Just not the news. So much positivity, so much upbeatness to this team, this franchise going into training camp. And we're going to open hour number 2 of the program talking about one thing that the Cardinals have done better than almost every other team in the NFL going into training camp. And that should be the focus. There should be positivity. So to get this news kind of dropped on us yesterday, it was just a disappointment. I know Walter Nolen more than likely is going to be on the field at some point this season. We're going to get to see him be a really good player for this team. That stuff's still going to happen, but you just wanted to get off on the right start, get off on the right foot, especially because we just went through this last year with Darius Robinson, and you just wanted to continue the positive vibes of this entire offseason right into training camp, into preseason, into the start of the year. And unfortunately, very quickly, we've been reminded that sports are funny sometimes in the way that they bring us back to reality very, very quickly. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. You can join us in the live chat over there as well. When we come back, Phoenix Suns, they were pretty busy yesterday adding some talent. Big names or just a well-rounded bench? That's next. The Lunch Break, KDUS, AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The Mazda More to Move You sales event is going on now at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, receive 1.9% financing for up to 60 months on the brand new 2025 Mazda CX-50 or CX-50 Hybrid.
Or receive $10,000 off the top of MSRP when you lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-70 or CX-90 plug-in hybrid. Think of how low your payment will be with those savings. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda on approved credit plus $998 doc fee.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest,
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Raise a glass to summer with AJ's 25% off wine and spirit sale. Now through August 5th. Explore our exquisitely curated collection of wine and spirits and save 25% when you mix or match 6 or more 750 milliliter bottles. Indulge in quality and craftsmanship from world-renowned wineries and distilleries and save 25% when you buy 6 or more bottles. Only at AJ's Wine and Spirit Sale now through August 5th.
You got the paint job, but now you need the materials fast. Get free same-day or next-day delivery on select PPG paints from the Home Depot. Now that's a pro move. Save time on store runs and get free delivery on small or large orders of select items. Save energy shopping around with PPG's wide assortment of colors and finishes all in one place. And save money with Pro Extra, where you can get up to 20% off paints, primers, and stains through Paint Rewards. The Home Depot, how pros get more done.
Jim Rome here through Rome Report. Let's not confuse being professional with being happy, because Cowboy star Micah Parsons is being professional, but he clearly is not happy. Not happy about that lack of progress on a new contract. Quote, "There's really not much movement I want to be here, but at the end of the day, they sign the checks. Like always, let's see if they want me to be here at the end of the day. End of quote. My man, 2 at the end of the days and 1 short answer. That's not easy to do. At the end of the day, Micah, you need to stop saying at the end of the day so often, because at the end of the day, that cliche has been beaten into submission. But at the end of the day, you're not wrong when you say TJ Watt, Max Crosby, and Myles Garrett all got theirs. And at the end of the day, you're right to ask, why do all these other teams take care of their star pass rushers while Jerry Jones ignores you? Because at the end of the day, Jera is going to do Jera no matter how much money and how many wins it costs him. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West, every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Just to put any speculation to bed before we get any further into the program, yes, I went on my run this morning. I know many of you out there were concerned, wondering if I would be able to make it 2 days in a row with the running. You were concerned after producer Evan asked me yesterday if I ran when I said I was going to, and I said, no, I didn't, because I was trying to pace myself. Got about 2 miles in this morning.
Nice, sticking to the program. Love to see that.
Yeah, we are at about 3.5 miles for the week. Next run is scheduled for Saturday.
So is what, 1.5? Then about 2. Is it 2.5 or
so it was
2.1?
It was 1.4 miles earlier this week.
Okay.
It's 1.8 miles today.
Nice.
That gets me to about 3.2.
Yeah.
3.5. And then on Saturday, I think it's 1.7. Well, it's not a gradual increase. Yeah. They're trying to take it easy on you because in the app you say what you're trying to do. And I put in there, training for my first 5K. That's the bar that I checked. And then they ask you how much running have you done recently or in the past, and I was like, none whatsoever. I'm the beginner of all beginners. You have to tell me how to run, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. And so this is this is week 1 of the plan, and then we go into week 2, and it'll be a gradual kind of build upwards.
I love it.
Listen, we're 2 for 2. We're trying to make it 3 for 3. I feel good. Feel more energetic.
I was gonna say, when you get up in the morning, and do you feel better after it?
I feel better. I'll tell you when I feel
I know
better.
It's tough. You're only 2 in, but
I feel better both days this week that I've ran, which is Monday and then this morning. I feel better later in the day.
Okay.
My morning isn't any different despite getting up early and running.
Yeah.
I still do all the same things I do in the morning to get ready to come here, and then I'm here putting the show together. I feel a little bit more energetic later in the day because of the run. Now, I don't know if that's just a placebo effect, but it does feel different on those days.
Either way, whether it's placebo effect or not, it's working for you.
I don't need to be trolled by the YouTube chat on this. I have run the 2 days I'm supposed to run this week, okay? This is not an everyday thing. It's not going to be an everyday thing.
Don't let them get to you.
You know what? I'll be honest. I can see why athletes just avoid social media sometimes. In this instance, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Some athletes, not couple former Suns.
No.
But others.
Specifically one former Sun. He loved social media.
He did.
I'm sure if I tweet at him right now, he and I will have a nice back and forth.
You know, it's bad when he's responding to kids at my lunch table. We were in middle school.
You would think that an athlete that had that much money on his hands and that much, time on his hands would not do that. Would do more. Because I know what I would do if I was that wealthy and I had that much freedom in my life.
It wouldn't be responding.
It would not be responding to people on social media. If this show ever just takes off and we're doing 4 hours every day and we're just making money all over the place, I can tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not getting into it with all of you on social media. We'll have a nice back and forth if I tweet a take or something. But if you just...
And on the YouTube chat?
Right. But if you just randomly tweet at me on a Saturday, hey, Chris, you stink, I'm not getting into that back and forth with you. It's not happening.
Set that bar right now.
That's my promise to all of you, that as this show continues to grow...
On a Saturday morning, what if somebody tweets at you, Chris, did you run?
No, I'm not engaging. Not engaging with that.
Okay.
Not engaging with that nonsense on a Saturday. Speaking of the Phoenix Suns, made a couple of moves yesterday, claiming Jordan Goodwin off of waivers from the Lakers. He was the player that was waived when they signed Marcus Smart, when they picked up free agent guard Jared Butler on a 1-year deal. And these are small moves. These aren't household names, but I think what these moves symbolize is a drive in this organization that I don't think existed over the last couple of years, to constantly be looking for ways to get better. Constantly trying to turn over every rock, look in every pantry cabinet, trying to get better, even if it's marginal, even if it's just a slight upgrade to the backup point guard on the bench or player number 13, 14, or 15 in your rotation, whatever the case may be, trying to get better. And you love to see an organization that is not resting on the work that they've already done, understands that while they've had a nice offseason, a good offseason, job's not done. Job's not finished. There's still work to be done. There's times to celebrate the small wins. But if you haven't reached your end goal, and the end goal for everybody involved is getting this franchise back to a place where they are winning their first championship, job's not done. So Jared Butler and Jordan Goodwin, not household names, not going to all of a sudden change the win total for the Phoenix Suns in Vegas, not going to make everybody change their 2025, 26 outlook for where they think the Phoenix Suns are going to finish. But making them potentially a better basketball team, you betcha. Goodwin, a great defender, great player to have on the bench in a small minutes role to be a really solid defender for this team. Jared Butler, potentially somebody who can compete for that backup point guard spot. And there's some mixed reporting. I don't know who's going to be the starting point guard. Is it Devin Booker? Is it going to be Jalen Green? We're not really sure at this point. I guess we'll just wait and see as we get closer to the season who's going to be the primary ball handler for the Phoenix Suns. I think Booker would make more sense, but if they feel more comfortable putting the ball in Jalen Green's hands, so be it. And I do think there's going to be some type of fluidity to it where they'll go back and forth between being the primary ball handler because both guys have that skill set. Finding ways to get better. Butler last season, played with the 76ers and the Wizards. 9 points in 17 minutes, was a second rounder back in 2021. Flyer. Just like we said yesterday, taking a flyer on Ben Simmons. I'm interested in any flyer that you think is going to raise the floor of this basketball team. You've got some young players with some potential that's going to help you long-term with your ceiling, but let's try to round out this group. Let's try to raise the floor of this group. We'll touch on this a little bit later on in the show. There's a story over on ESPN this morning that ranked the Suns towards the bottom of the list of 14 teams that are quote-unquote rebuilding. Now, I don't know if anyone told the writer of this story. I believe it was Tim Bontemps who wrote this story. I don't know if Tim was told that he's not allowed to use that word when talking about the Phoenix Suns, but he did. And Phoenix is at the bottom of this list because there was no direction in the eyes of Bontemps who wrote this story. I see a clear direction. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. And you're seeing it in moves like this. You're seeing this in how they are choosing to attack this offseason. Got the Kevin Durant stuff done, had a good draft. Got the Bradley Beal stuff done, has made some small moves here on the margins. A great first opening act for this GM and this head coach in their first offseason in trying to rebuild things here for this organization. Again, this is not going to change overnight. It's going to take small incremental steps. We joked at the top of this segment about my running. I can't go from not running to all of a sudden running a 5K tomorrow. I can't do that. The Phoenix Suns can't go from being where they were at the end of this last season, needing to reset completely. They will not next season be competing for a championship. It's going to take slow, incremental steps. And I think they've made a bunch of those small incremental steps this offseason. These moves are just a couple of examples of that. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. John says we kid because we care. We only engage during the show. Your other time is your time. Thank you, John. Not engaging with me outside of these 2 hours. Now, again, if I have a take on social media that you disagree with, I'm putting the take on social media for you to banter with me. When we
feel free to tweet at me.
Right. When we put out a TikTok or a YouTube short,
please engage
with a take of mine. It's out there for you to engage with. I don't need the random, trolls when I haven't said anything. That's when I'm not engaging with that.
But John, if you're watching a Suns game and you think of something that happens and you tweet it at the lunch break or at KDUS AM 1060,
we don't have a Twitter. We don't have a show Twitter account.
Page. Yeah, my bad.
That's all right.
But we would love to talk about it. Yeah, engaging.
I'm just not taking. Here's what I'll say.
We just don't want the trolls.
I'll say the person. Everyone knows who it is. I'm not taking the Kevin Durant approach to this. I'm not engaging with everything that gets tweeted at me.
You didn't need to do that.
What's he going to do? He's not going to call in.
If I cut this on social media, he might.
No, he's not. He's not going to respond. He's got other things to do. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, Eugenio Suarez looked yesterday like he was taking it all in, that it was going to be his final game potentially as an Arizona Diamondback. What might the return for Eugenio Suarez look like? And do we like what the returns could look like? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer.
What did you say?
Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
It starts with a simple order. A cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
It's time to talk Grizzly.
The air conditioner made specifically for Arizona summers.
Alaskan AC introduced the Grizzly a couple years ago, and the reviews are pouring in.
This one says, I love how quiet it is. I can hardly hear it come on, but I'm always comfortable.
Another person writes, finally an air conditioner that can withstand the desert heat and dust.
This one says, I like its fluffy fur and cute black nose.
Anyway, if it's time to upgrade your AC, you can't do better than the Grizzly.
Only available at Alaskan AC.
People love it.
Like this person who said, we live in an older home and the Grizzly keeps us comfortable in every room.
Or this guy, we live just outside of town and the dust is horrible. Glad we have an AC that can take it.
Or this one, he's so cuddly and has these adorable pads on his paws.
Gary, I think you're on a different webpage.
Gary, I think you're different.
Learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Did you catch Luisito's header?
Yeah, I just recorded it on my new Samsung A36 5G phone I got for free at Total Wireless.
Oh, I'm actually live streaming the whole match with my new Samsung Tab A9 that I also got free at Total Wireless.
I got that tablet too.
And I got that phone too. We both got both.
Switch to Total Wireless and get both the Samsung A36 5G and the Samsung Tab A9 for free. For a limited time while supplies last, valid in store. Requires new phone activation on the Total 5G Unlimited plan or higher external port and ID verification and new activation on the Total 5G Unlimited 6-month tablet plan. Restrictions apply.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles buffet or enjoying fine dining experience at the award-winning Choya Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes from now. I'm sure most of you have seen the photo that circulated around social media yesterday of Eugenio Suarez standing at the top of the Arizona Diamondbacks dugout. Nobody else around him. The game over for a bit of time and looked like he was just taking it all in because that is the last Diamondbacks home game between now and the trade deadline, which is a week from today. And that was just a kind of symbolic image of what the next couple of days are like for all of us who have followed this team, have watched this team all season. We didn't expect that this was going to be our fate over the next week. I did not anticipate doing a segment evaluating Eugenio Suarez trade packages on July 24th. I mean, I'm the guy who said on air that they could beat the Dodgers for the NL West. That's me. That is in the audio library for all to hear. Did not expect us to be sitting here today doing this. Just like Eugenio Suarez yesterday probably didn't think that he was going to be standing on the top step of that dugout, looking out and wondering if it was the last time that he played a game in Chase Field as an Arizona Diamondback. So this morning on The Athletic, and producer Evan, I'm going to need your help with this. There was a story titled Eugenio Suarez Trade Scenarios, and it goes through different teams and different packages. So I'm going to read through each of these teams, and I'm going to throw out the prospect name. If you don't mind using the MLB pipeline prospect tool, I want to see if any of these deals meet our criteria. What is our criteria? We've said a couple of things. We'd like, in an ideal world, for the Diamondbacks to land as many top 100 prospects as they can. Those are the best of the best, the top of the top, the guys that you mostly would bet on to get to the big leagues and be contributors. So that's one of our priorities. Another one of our priorities is pitching in particular, because this team does not have a lot of pitching depth going into next season. But if not pitching, or if it includes pitching, we want prospects that are close. I want prospects that are in AA, ready to be promoted to AAA, or in AAA, ready to be promoted to the big league level. Guys that over the next 2 seasons could be making an impact in downtown Phoenix. Those are the parameters that we have set on these trades, whether it's Suarez, Naylor, Kelly, Gallen. Those are the check marks for us. Are you ready to cross-reference?
We are ready.
So this story written this morning by Jim Bowden over on The Athletic starts with the New York Yankees. Says that Spencer Jones, George Lombard Jr., off limits, not happening. So you can get your hopes up. Spencer Jones, I think, hit 3 home runs today down in a minor league game. Not happening with Spencer Jones. George Lombard Jr., one of their other top prospects, that's not happening. But the 2 names that Bowden invoked, middle infielder Roderick Arias and left-handed pitcher Brock Selvage. Do either of those guys, producer Evan, check our boxes. Do they fit what we want them to do? You're scrolling and staring at the screen. Concerns me that you're scrolling outside of the top 10 of the Yankees prospects.
Yes, we are. We're in top 12 for Arias, who is in just A ball.
Okay.
Age 20.
Okay.
This is shortstop, second baseman.
You know what? What's his ETA? Because the MLB Pipeline usually has the ETA on there. Should be all the way to the right.
ETA 2027.
All right. So not next year, but the year after. But an A-ball player, you worry that that might push you into 2028. Not really checking the boxes.
And what was the other name?
That would be a Brock Selvage.
Brock Selvage, left-handed pitcher in Double-A with an ETA 2026.
Okay, so that's pitcher, left-hander, potential arrival next season. That's good. I'm okay with that one.
He is right there, the 12th and 13th prospect.
So not a top 10 prospect, not going to be a top 100 prospect, but checks a little bit of the boxes. Now we need the Chicago Cubs because Bowden says the Cubs should be able to land Suarez in a straight-up deal for pitching prospect Jackson Wiggins, a second-round pick from 2023. He's been at high A and double A this season. Jackson Wiggins is
right-handed pitcher, currently in Double-A with an ETA of 2026, age 23.
Top 10 prospect for the Cubs?
Fifth.
So top 5 prospect. So top 5 prospect, close to the big league level, pitcher, checks all the boxes. Number 3, the Detroit Tigers. So they said, Bowden here says, Bryce Rainier is off limits. Max Clark is off limits.
What? They're not going to give us Max Clark?
No, Max Clark not coming in a Eugenio Suarez trade. No, sorry about that. Tigers would include catcher, first baseman, Tyrone Liranzo.
Liranzo,
because Liriano would be without the Z, so Liranzo is what we'll go with.
He is the 5th prospect.
Okay.
Catcher, first baseman.
Okay.
Currently in Double-A.
Okay.
And we will see him in 2026.
Okay, so far, a lot of 2026 prospects checking the box for me. Right-hander Jaden Ham, who's also in the Tigers deal.
Jaden Ham is the 10th prospect.
Okay.
Currently in high A ball. 2026 ETA, age 22, the right-handed pitcher.
Okay, so again, we have said, this team, if they want 2026 to be relevant, if they want to be able to compete next season, they got to prioritize pitching, but they also have to prioritize prospects that can help them right now. Maybe forego some ceiling, some lottery tickets for the future, and get some players in 2026 and 2027 that are maybe landlocked because of the way the big league roster for those teams shakes out, or just an area of depth for this franchise that they're willing to part with that player. I don't want to go through all these teams. There's one other team that I wanted to get to, and that was the Cincinnati Reds, because they put out a player that, to me, I mean, this would be a home run in my opinion. The Cincinnati Reds, they said that that Sal Stewart maybe won't get it done. Cam Collier probably won't be on the move, but they mentioned Chase Petty, a right-handed pitcher. You know, I know Chase Petty. I got this one, producer Evan. Top 5 prospect for the Cincinnati Reds. Sorry, top 6 prospect for the Cincinnati Reds is a right-hander. An ETA as early as next season. Could probably be in the big
ETA is this year.
Yeah, could be in the big league rotation right now if they had a need. But this is a team that's got Hunter Green. This is a team that has Rhett Lauder, who's hurt right now. They have Andrew Abbott, who's pitching really well. Nick Lodolo's pitching really well.
Chase Burns. Solid.
I mean, this is a rotation in Cincinnati. This is a strength for them. And most of the time, you don't want to deal from your starting pitching depth because you like to have that around. But if they wanted to make a move and have a reunion with Eugenio Suarez, and it was reported last night that the Reds have interest in a reunion with Eugenio Suarez, getting Chase Petty, who's completely landlocked by the state of affairs with the Cincinnati rotation, that's a guy that, to me, immediately goes into the opening day rotation for the Arizona Diamondbacks. When they break spring training next year, if they got somebody like a Chase Petty, he is one of their 5 starters when they break camp next year.
100%.
So I would be all on.
If they get Chase Petty, I think he'll get a start in August. Maybe not August, but September.
If they acquire Chase Petty in a deal, I think he could make some starts down the stretch, yes. Get a jump start on 26.
Yeah. See some major league hitters, get major league experience. Why would you not?
Yeah, I mean, 2 other teams that were mentioned on this list, by the way, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Seattle Mariners, who we didn't get to in discussing these. But again,
Seattle's interesting because they don't have a pitcher that's big league ready that's in the top 12.
All right. Do you want to know who Jim Bowden put on this list?
Yeah.
So middle infielder Michael Arroyo and right-hander Ryan Sloan, he said, could be enough to get a deal done. Arroyo is 20 years old, has been as high as AA this season. Sloan is 19 years old, and he's in low A.
And he is an ETA of 2028.
Yeah, so that's more
few years away.
That's more of the lottery ticket type play, right? When you start projecting out beyond the next couple of seasons, you don't know what the growth and development of that player is going to look like, right? Whereas if a player's got an ETA of right now, you kind of are closer to knowing if they're a sure thing. You kind of know where they're at in their development. And I don't know if I'd be interested in taking lottery tickets right now.
You have a better feel. They've seen more at bats. I just think that it's easier to tell at 23 or 22 than it is at 18 because I've seen more at bats. I know what his approach looks like. I have a better feel for it. And then as a pitcher, I know what his stuff is. I know how it has grown, how he's grown into his stuff, all of those things.
Yeah. And again, so far, the overwhelming theme of these trade offers have been very much in line with what we have talked about on this show. I am not giving up 2026 just yet. You have to wait until I get through the entire offseason before I see where my roster is to say whether or not I'm giving up on punting on 2026. And I think if you do this correctly, you can get somebody back like a Petty, like Chase Petty, or like some of the other prospects that we mentioned that are close, and you can have a really young, improved roster for 2026.
What if it's not 2026? What if it's 27? You punt 26, play for 27.
I'd rather not do that. I'd rather not. I would rather exhaust all of my options to try to make, because again, you're wasting another year of Ketel Marte. You're wasting another year of Corbin Carroll. I don't want to do that when I have those two guys. Those are two MVP candidates that I'm just wasting. Now, yes, 2027 is when Corbin Burns more than likely will be back. So I get it.
2026, it's just going to be an interesting year. You're going to get a starting third baseman and Jordan Lawler, who probably we'll see what the end of this stretch looks like, but there's a lot to be left on the bone there for Jordan Lawler, a lot to be proved. You're going to have prospects, young guys that are coming up, seeing first major league experience. All of that things could kind of influence an interesting 2026. It could be extremely fun to watch, or it could be difficult to watch.
I think 2026 should be a year where you try to put together a roster that has a chance to compete for a wild card spot. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to do what you did this past offseason where you're trying to stay close to the Dodgers. You're trying to just give yourself a chance to be the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cincinnati Reds, the Seattle Mariners. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be close enough where you can be a buyer at the deadline, that you can be any of the teams on this list. That's what you're trying to be. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, wrapping up hour number one here of the lunch break, a little buy or sell, the hottest sports takes in sports talk radio. Next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Prepare for the Maximum Fun Tour. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. Saturday, October 25th. Special guests, The Wonder Years and Dinosaur Pile-Up. Tickets from $30. On sale now at livenation.com. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Part of the American First Credit Union Concert Series.
I'm Kimberly,
I'm Ken.
and we're the Owens family. I love living next to my parents because when we lived 10 minutes from them, sometimes I would dread a phone call coming because I wouldn't know if my mom was like, okay, your dad fell. He needs help. Can you get here right away? Now, since they're right next door, if anything happens, I can be there within a matter of minutes.
Photo home communities are wonderful. It's a very comforting feeling. You know, it's kind of seems to be a sense of family, you know, which I think everybody wants. And so, you know, when you have that opportunity to live in a situation like that, it's everything.
We're always trying to get our friends and families to move over here, we would recommend Fulton Homes to our friends and our family. And we have recommended Fulton Homes to our friends and our family.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
At Nationwide Vision, we make the back-to-school season crystal clear for you and your kids. With convenient scheduling and personalized treatment plans for the whole family, we keep things simple and stress-free, so your kids can face the day with confidence. Because vision shapes learning, and learning shapes life. Get 50% off a complete pair, and give your family the clarity to thrive in every part of their journey. Schedule an appointment today to find your focus at Nationwide Vision.
Hey listeners, it's Vince DeLisio with the Varsity Sports Show. Saturday, we continue our fall sports preview as we head to a place that's near and dear as part of the first team of broadcasters for Spirit Football. That's right, I'll be out at Ottawa University in Surprise. We'll preview football, soccer, cross country, volleyball, tennis, golf, basketball, wrapping up with a visit with Athletic Director Kevin Steele. It's OUAZ week on the Varsity Sports Show, Saturday morning, 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here of the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Hope you're all having a great Thursday. It is buy or sell time. The hottest takes in sports talk radio. Producer Evan has them, and then I have to buy or sell them. I don't know what I've been doing a majority of this week.
Majority of selling. By one.
So, okay. I mean, so I've been pretty 50-50 so far throughout the week. Now, this is our last buy or sell for the week.
It is, unfortunately.
Because we have not alerted everybody to what's going on tomorrow.
Fortunately, I will be on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, so producer Evan is on vacation. Now, many of you may think, all right, well, then Corey will be in here because producer Corey normally fills in when producer Evan's on here. Well, producer Corey's on vacation. So tomorrow, we're going old school. We're not having the video version of the show because I will be running the board. I will be producer Chris and host Chris tomorrow.
You'll be in my seat.
I will be in your seat pushing all the buttons while also talking to the people. Just me and the people. For 2 hours tomorrow, there's nobody else. It's you, me, and that's it. You being the audience, not producer Evan. He's not here. So it's just the two of us tomorrow, hanging out for 2 hours. I don't know what it's going to look like. We're just going to be along for the ride together. So this is the last buy or sell of the week.
Let's make it count. I got 6 today.
So you are making it count then.
Walter Nolen will still have an impact this season despite his injury.
I would love to know more about the severity of the injury. I would love to know how it happened. I would love to know when it happened. I would love to know what they think the timetable is on it. Because all I have to go off of is I watched this story play out with Darius Robinson last year. And Darius Robinson, as a rookie along the defensive line who suffered a calf injury, was unable to be productive. That's not a shot against Darius Robinson. Just
is what it is.
The nature of the situation, just the reality of it. I want to sell this for the moment, just until I learn more.
I agree. It's just going to be tough to come back, get up to NFL speed that quickly, especially if he misses a couple weeks into the season. It'll be tough. Matt Ishbia has finally figured out that this team needs to be in a rebuild.
Say that one more time.
Matt Ishbia has finally figured out that the Suns need to be in a rebuild.
I'll buy this. I don't think he would describe it as such, but they're doing somewhat of a soft reset here, and they're going about it the right way. And we're going to talk about this in hour number 2 of the program. I completely disagree with the interpretation that Tim Bontemps over at ESPN had of where the Suns currently sit. He ranked them 14th out of 14 rebuilding franchises. I get it that they're going through a lot. I know that they just traded Kevin Durant. I know that they have all that Bradley Beal dead money for the next 5 seasons. I understand that, but I think you've been living under a rock if you think this Suns team, where they're at today, is not in a better place than they were at the end of the season. Much better place.
So you're not calling it a rebuild still?
No, because I don't.
It's a retool.
It is a retool. I do not want to get on the bad side of Suns owner Matt Ishbia.
The Suns retool will take more than 3 years.
This is a separate buy or sell?
This is a separate buy or sell.
It will take more than 3 seasons. I will sell, he says, with not a lot of confidence.
Did not seem confident in selling.
More than 3 seasons. So
in your 4th season. So you have all of this year.
I have all of this year.
All of next year.
all of next year.
All of the year after that.
All the year after that.
And then the 4th year.
So in the next 3 seasons.
And you can make the playoffs, but you need to be championship contenders in the 4th season.
If I make the playoffs in one of the next 3 years, would we consider that?
Like, you can't sneak in through the play-in as an 8 seed.
So
that doesn't count.
I have to be one of the top 6 seeds.
You have to be a non-play-in team.
And if I do that one of the 3 seasons, that would classify being out of the rebuild?
Yeah.
It'll happen it'll happen in 3 seasons or fewer.
Okay.
So I'm selling that it will take more than 3 seasons. Yes.
Okay. I like that. I like that confidence.
There is a lot of optimism on this end for what Matt Ishbia, Brian Gregory, and Jordan Ott are doing. Now,
I think there's reason to be optimistic.
And here's the reason why I'm choosing to be optimistic. I have not been given a reason not to be optimistic. We haven't played basketball games yet. I haven't seen Brian Gregory.
People would argue with that.
I have not seen Brian Gregory screw up a deadline. I haven't seen Jordan Ott make bad coaching decisions. I haven't seen any of that. All there is reason for optimism.
Other than the Ishbia talk, right? Of how involved is he? "Quote unquote," he's going to be more involved.
But
then you see that video.
Brian Gregory said, "I'm the GM. We're taking Kobe Bryant." So you know what? If that's the type of involvement that Matt is going to have, but then defer to his players, I'm in.
The alignment.
Right, I'm aligned. Brian, you and I aligned. I'm in, buddy.
And we've said this before on the show. I don't know if there's a GM in the town that I'm rooting for more than I'm rooting for Brian Gregory.
Oh, it's close. You know how much I love Mike Hazen.
I know.
I genuinely appreciate the job that Mike Hazen has done here. I really enjoy watching him be the GM, and that is a very
I'm a huge nerd.
That is a nerdy thing to say, that you love watching a GM operate, but I enjoy listening to Mike Hazen.
It's that nerdy.
It is. I mean, that's not X's and O's. That's not playing the game. That's, you know.
But there are certain GMs across all sports that you're like, man, love what they did there.
Jerry Jones. Love Jerry Jones, the GM. He's great.
He is awesome.
Fantastic.
Anytime, and I'll quote JJ Watt on this. Anytime in one foul swoop, you can take a shot at your star quarterback and your star edge rusher, you have to take it.
You have to do it. Like DaCosta in Baltimore, I could listen to him talk football all day long.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
Mike Hazen, David Stearns are a couple of GMs that I like listening to in baseball. Theo Epstein, when he was...
I was just about to say that.
When he was a GM,
yeah,
really smart.
Was just about to say, you look at those early 2000s Red Sox teams and how they were built and everything like that. They were fun to watch.
Like listening to, and he's now in TV, but Bob Myers as an NBA executive.
Yeah.
Just some really smart people that you enjoy listening to.
The Cardinals should add a cheap free agent veteran to the defensive front.
No. You have...
I had to ask it.
Sell, just so we're on record. You have Calais Campbell. You have Dalvin Tomlinson. You have Darius Robinson. Bilal Nichols, I know he's on the injured list, but he's going to come back. You have enough depth to overcome this. And you have not just good depth, but veteran depth. Guys who have been here. Guys who understand the system. So no, we're not adding. No, sell.
Eugenio Suarez will be traded to one of his former teams.
So Eugenio Suarez is either going to Seattle or Cincinnati, is what you're telling me. I think I'll take the field. The Yankees feel like they just desperately need to do something to get their fan base.
Don't the Yankees just feel like they're going to get IKF again?
Legitimately, the fan base may revolt. The fan base may revolt.
Say that every year.
No, that might be. They made 4 errors last night. They lost again to Toronto. They've beaten them once all season. Fan base is ready to fire everybody. Again. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
One study found that half of all clients are unhappy with their lawyer. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
That's why we survey our clients and know over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.com.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. You know, most pest control companies use the same products we do. That's not the difference. But what is the difference is how we treat people. At Moxie, kindness counts, and it shows in every visit, every conversation, and every one of the 6,500 plus 5-star Google reviews our customers have written. Our field experts aren't just trained to handle pests. They're trained to treat your home, your family, your pets, and your time with the kind of respect you deserve. And our services come with a pest-free guarantee. Our methods and service just work better because our people are better. So if you want a pest control company you can trust in and around your home, give us a call. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Octane Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Octane Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
Summer's here, and SRP wants to remind you that swim safety starts with W. That's right, W, as in Water Watcher. Keep pool time a good time by designating an adult who can swim and knows CPR. Be sure they avoid distractions, always scan the swimming area, and ensure that the pool gate stays locked. Assigning a Water Watcher is a simple step to help prevent drownings and keep everyone safe around pools. To get more water safety tips, visit srp.net/pool.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. You can tell that it is the beginning of training camp because my timeline on social media is flooded with highlights. Aaron Rodgers throwing an interception to Patrick Queen on his first rep of camp. J.J. McCarthy doing something incredible. Everybody's just rushing to social media to share highlights. Jackson Dart throwing an interception on his first play.
Did you see Giants camp today had signs like, please don't record team sessions? You can't do that. He threw a pick in training camp. Who cares?
No. You don't need to. Don't recreate the drop. We have it.
Who cares?
Don't recreate it when it's just right there for us.
But why? Why you make it so much worse by having that sign up? You make it so much worse.
Are you familiar with the Streisand effect?
No.
Okay, so it's this concept that by talking about something, like when bad news comes out, referencing it and getting upset about it actually magnifies how much people see said news and talk about said news. Where if you just let it happen and just recede back into the background and let the cycle play itself out, it doesn't actually impact you as much. That's kind of what the Giants are doing here. By putting that sign up, by trying to make a bigger deal out of Jackson Dart throwing an interception, they're drawing more attention to Jackson Dart throwing an interception. Whereas if we just moved on from it, we would forget because there would be the next thing to discuss.
Nobody cares. It's training camp. Who cares? It's the first day of training camp. Guess what? He's going to throw a pick. I would love to see the stat on how many first-day quarterbacks threw a pick in training camp. I would tell you the number is probably 90%.
But this goes back to what I said yesterday. I just don't.
Just the Giants. I don't get them.
I just don't care about the individual results. Like, is it gonna matter? Now, obviously,
I'll kind of play devil's advocate on that. Like last year, Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over. Like, he threw one pick in training camp.
Okay.
That's something where you're like, okay, he's making a conscious effort to not turn the ball over.
Right, but this, I'll give you a cross-sport answer. When a big league pitcher is coming back from a major injury and they're ramping back up in the minor leagues and they're going through their rehab starts and they're increasing their workload, they're gonna work 2 innings today and then 4 innings tomorrow or 4 innings their next start. It's just gonna scale up, right? And you see a guy go out there and he gives up 6 runs in the 2 innings. I don't freak out about them not being able to throw at the big league level because I don't know what they're working on. I don't know if the idea going into this start is I haven't thrown in 6 months. I'm just going to throw the fastball, or I'm going to only throw one off-speed pitch to get the feel for that back. And so you're just serving it up on a tee.
Pitchers are different. Pitchers are very different because you're watching for specific things.
I know.
How's his velocity? Where's his spin? Whereas if I'm a pitcher in spring training and I didn't like how my cutter came out, maybe I'll throw back-to-back cutters. I'm never going to do that in the regular season.
Sure, but during training camp, maybe because it's training camp, because it's not the end of the world if I throw the pick, I want to see if I can fit it in that tight window because I got to know.
I agree. So we're arguing the same thing. I just think there are certain trends that you can pay attention to.
If you throw 40 picks every single rep of training camp.
If he throws a pick a day for the rest of training camp, then I'm a little concerned.
Yes. If every single time out, the media is reporting that Jackson Dart is continuing to throw it into the tightest window possible, and he's always throwing a pick, and he's not learning, then yeah, the sample size is big enough to where I get concerned. But on the first day?
Nobody's talking about the first day. But if you go through a whole camp and there is a trend, then you have to start to pay attention to it.
I just think everybody rushing to social media today to post their...
but that's the fun of training camp.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not what training camp is about. Maybe it is to some, not for me. Health. Just be healthy. Cardinals haven't done a great job of that so far, but that's priority number one. Because, again, if a guy every rep throws a touchdown pass, are we going to just assume that person's going to win the MVP?
No. Again, you're not. I agree with you that on day one.
I'll tell you, it doesn't sound like you agree with me. Maybe that's why I'm so angry. It doesn't sound like you're on my side.
Day one, I don't care what you do. But if you come out and show me if you have a young quarterback and it's a glaring problem that his accuracy is wild, then that's something that we need to address early. And if it's not getting any better, now I'm growing concerned.
Let's get to.
But you also have to understand that Jackson Dart's first pass was going to be recorded.
Right. So if he starts doing that in the preseason, if he starts doing that as a rookie,
and the Giants just make it way worse by the sign.
The sign is worse than the interception, right?
Way worse.
The interception, that's going to happen. It's the sign the next day that says, "Hey, don't record any of this." And post it on social media.
If that was the rule yesterday, where it's like, don't record team sessions, okay. You can't change the rule now.
You can't add the sign after Jackson Dart throws the pick and everybody loses their mind yesterday. Now, that was generating a lot of buzz yesterday, and that's kind of what I wanted to open hour number 2 with, because I want to give the Cardinals credit in one very specific regard. Because we mentioned it earlier this week about Trey Hendrickson and the situation in Cincinnati, and we've made a couple of comments and jokes about the Micah Parsons situation in Dallas and Shamar Stewart in Cincinnati and Terry McLaurin in Washington. And we've been talking about all these hold-ins, holdouts, these drama-filled situations as training camp opens for some of these teams. And it is as quiet as it can get for the Arizona Cardinals in Tempe. It doesn't get any quieter when it comes to contract distractions or a coach every single day needing to answer a question about Micah Parsons or every single day answering a question about Trey Hendrickson or every single day answering, where's Terry McLaurin? When's Terry McLaurin going to be here? Are you worried that Terry McLaurin isn't going to be ready for the beginning of the season? Instead of all of that, the Cardinals, at least before the Walter Nolen injury yesterday, got to show up to training camp, and the focus was on the football team. Will Johnson signed before training camp began, took care of that, no problems, took it up until probably the last possible second. But, hey, he was there, ready to go, no issues. The Cardinals are distraction-free. Injuries are going to happen. I don't consider that a distraction. The Arizona Cardinals are distraction-free. There's no off-the-field story that's being talked about with a contract dispute or a player holding out. You have a GM that's been in place for the last couple of years. You have a coach that's been in place for the last couple of years. You have a roster. They took care of Budda Baker during the season last year. They took care of James Conner with a contract extension last year. They made Trey McBride, for at least a brief moment in time, the highest paid tight end in the sport. Didn't allow that. That contract extension was signed eons before training camp began. They didn't even want to flirt with the idea of that being a question when everybody showed up over the last couple of days. Didn't even let it flirt with being a distraction. That's what good organizations do. That's what great organizations do. They take the ability for there to be any type of distractions and they remove them from the table. Not happening. Can't open up camp asking where Trey McBride is. Can't open up camp wondering when his contract extension is going to come. Can't start camp asking, are you going to get a deal done with James Conner? Are you going to get a deal done with Budda Baker? None of it. Taken care of. Getting ahead of it. The Jets did this really well this offseason, signing Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner to extensions before the year started. Bunch of teams have started to figure out that despite how much money it costs, and despite that, you're going to have to reset the bar at these positions, it is better to pay these guys ahead of time because, one, very quickly those deals look relatively cheap once the next 3 or 4 guys get paid. But more importantly, you save yourself the headache because now Monty Ossenfort or Michael Bidwell, they don't pull a Jerry Jones. They don't pull a Mike Brown in Cincinnati where you say some really stupid things. Where we mentioned J.J. Watt in his tweet a little bit ago. You don't insult your star pass rusher and your star quarterback all in one answer. Mike Brown, a rookie that they took in the first round that should be able to help them improve their defense. You don't take a shot at that player for no reason whatsoever. Trey Hendrickson, a situation that's been going on for 2 off seasons now. This was a distraction last year. It is a distraction again to the point where Trey Hendrickson removed himself, went to Florida, is ready to come back in a moment's notice, but can't get a deal done with Cincinnati. So every single day it's going to be brought up. Every single day it's going to be a talking point. Every single day people are going to ask, when's Trey coming back? Are you worried that Trey isn't going to be here? What's this going to look like if Trey's not here? Is the defense ready? All of these questions, they don't go away. In fact, with each passing day, these conversations, these questions, these distractions only grow. Do you think Washington, after the season that they had, the buzz and hype that they had, they want to have a holdout situation with Terry McLaurin? Do you think they really want to do that? Should just figure these things out. You're only hurting yourself. And so that's why you give credit to an organization like the Arizona Cardinals, who, let's face it, in years past, you wouldn't give them this benefit of the doubt. You wouldn't love the stability of the organization. You didn't trust the guy sitting in the GM chair or the guy that was the head coach. But you do trust Jonathan Gannon. You do trust Monty. There's faith. There is trust. There is belief. There is confidence in these guys. And so they showed up to camp this week. Not a distraction in sight. Not a conversation to be had about somebody holding out for a contract. Credit where credit is due. Just makes your job a heck of a lot easier when Jonathan Gannon doesn't have to get up there and answer questions, because this isn't even his department, but he's got to answer questions about where Trey McBride is. When's Trey McBride going to get his contract? took it off the table. It's what good organizations do. The Arizona Cardinals, I think, are slowly becoming a good organization. Now, they got a lot of work to do. Blistering NFLPA report. Speaking of things that are filling up my social media feed, you see all these teams that got bad report card grades for their locker room facilities.
All of them have upgraded.
A lot of social media of these upgraded facilities. New York, Washington, a lot of teams.
Let me ask you a question. So a lot of this new locker trend, have you seen videos of the locker rooms?
I've seen videos of the revamped one in New York and the revamped one in, I believe it was Washington.
Perfect. So the chairs on, I believe it's both locker rooms, open, and that's where like all your stuff is.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I mean,
I can't sit down and grab my jersey.
I think that those...
Is that a stupid complaint?
No, I think those were designed directly with player feedback in mind.
Okay.
I don't think that was a design decision that was made and the players weren't consulted. I think that was probably something the players thought was cool, and so it was put into the plans.
Because you see that all the time with the college locker rooms.
Yeah.
Like LSU's, it's like that, but then it pulls into a bed. You can sleep there.
The LSU locker room and college football locker rooms in general, when they get remodeled, look like they are elite airport lounges.
They do. I was in, a family friend of ours got married in Houston, Texas. They live in Houston. And he got married in College Station. And so we had toured Texas A&M's facility.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The locker room, the weight room, the things they have at some of these schools in college football, it just, like, there's just no way the NFL has a nicer locker room. There's just no way.
And that's why all of these teams that got Fs needed to change course. This stuff matters. Yeah. Players care about this stuff. And the Cardinals are lagging behind in this regard. They were investing money in revamping, and these things can't just happen overnight. They take time. And so I think down the road we'll see, but the food needs to be improved. There are still a bunch of things to work on, but the stability, the confidence in the front office, in the coach, to not have any of these distractions when the season begins, man, just a breath of fresh air. And you can't say that for all of these organizations. Washington's dealing with it. Dallas is dealing with it. There's a holdout in Buffalo, right? James Cook is holding out. Everybody's got it. Guess what? The Cardinals don't. That's a good thing.
It's a distraction free.
It's something that you don't think about, right? Training camp's here, ready to go. But I saw a story today that talked about an update on the holdout situations across football. And I just went down the list and I was like, you know what? Cardinals aren't here.
There's not many teams that evade that list. And to have a team that does, it gives you confidence in the front office, but also we're going to get all our guys for a full training camp. We're going to be ready to go.
It is a good thing, and it is a thing that should be celebrated and mentioned, even though it's just a passing footnote that you can kind of forget about, because I think it shows the stability of the organization. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the expectation is that Eugenio Suarez is going to be on the move. Can that be the only move the Diamondbacks make? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. No more, Mr. Nice Guy. The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hey, it's Pat. The other day at work, they brought in pizza for lunch, so I swooped in and I grabbed 3 slices. The coworker next to me said, "Geez, Pat, you can't have it all." Then I corrected him and said, "Yeah, I can, and you can too, with a new 2025 Toyota truck. Power and performance, capability and reliability." Well, I must have convinced him because he grabbed the plate out of my hand and he said, "Good point, Pat."
Right now, get low 1.99% financing for 72 months on a new 2025 Tundra. Or get 4.99% 60-month financing on Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and Grand Highlander. Plus, check out great lease deals on any new Toyota. Visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com today. Toyota, let's go places. 1.99% with $14.75 per thousand borrowed for 72 months. 4.99% with $18.87 per thousand borrowed for 60 months. Offers end 8/4/25 and exclude TRD Pro models. See dealer for details.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Anthony Richardson hasn't lived up to the hype. That's the narrative. Top 10 pick, big arm, big expectations. 2 years in, he's been underwhelming. Let's pump the brakes, though. His biggest issue hasn't been performance. It's been availability. He started just 15 games in 2 years. Not enough time to fairly judge any quarterback, especially one with raw tools and sky-high upside. The 50% completion rate isn't pretty, but history tells us patience can pay off. Josh Allen completed just 52% of his passes through his first 12 starts, with more picks than touchdowns. Now, he's your MVP. Geno Smith flamed out with the Jets. Today, he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. The NFL is quick to crown and quicker to cancel, but Anthony Richardson still has the kind of rare athleticism you can't coach. Big arm, elite speed, and built like a linebacker. If you're ready to move on after 15 games, maybe you're not paying attention to the other success stories in the past. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Maaco, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Maaco's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Maaco.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Maaco, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Maaco.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
A week from today is the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And we'll finally get all of our answers. Which of these players the Diamondbacks end up moving, what they get back, have they set themselves up well for the future? And in some ways, it will be the end of the 2025 Diamondback season. If you think, along with me, that the Diamondbacks are going to be moving all of their movable pieces between now and next Thursday, that's it. It's over. The next 2 months may have some fun stories. Will be good to see what Corbin Carroll can do with the rest of his season. If any young players get some run, right? If he comes back and he's healthy, do we get to see 2 months of Jordan Lawler out there playing for this team, right? Some cool storylines to follow, but not the storylines we wanted to follow. So next Thursday, in many ways, is going to be the end of the Diamondback season. In all of the ways, it is going to be the end of the Diamondback season. But can it just be Eugenio Suarez that is on the move between now and next Thursday? Would we consider the deadline for the Diamondbacks a failure if that's the only thing they are able to accomplish? He's really been our main focus over the last couple of days and weeks. But the Diamondbacks have other pieces. Josh Naylor is going to generate some buzz. People are going to want to call on a lefty first base DH option that can hit for some power, play some decent, solid defense, gives you versatility if you're a right-handed base lineup. That's valuable. Merrill Kelly and or Zach Allen, valuable commodities. Everybody looks to upgrade their rotation this time of year. Everybody looks to add a starter. And maybe Merrill Kelly and Zach Allen are not aces. Maybe they're not guys that could start game one of a playoff series. But there are some teams out there that don't have 5 starters, that are going to need 5 starters to get through this season, to make that final push over the next 2 months. So the Diamondbacks have a ton of valuable assets. So would it be a failure if it's just Eugenio Suarez that gets moved over the next week? How could it not be? How could we not view only trading the one movable asset that you have before the deadline as a failure? I don't care what prospect you get back. Even if you do get back Chase Petty, the right-hander from Cincinnati that we talked about in hour number 1 of the program, and we would love that move. Wouldn't you feel like everything that has happened this season was for nothing? Wouldn't you feel like this team missed an opportunity? Wouldn't you feel like they are punting on 2026 if they only trade Eugenio Suarez ahead of the deadline? By trading all of these guys, what you do is you give yourself a chance in 2026. And that's all I've asked for this entire time. I am not going to give up on 2026 until I am given a reason to give up on 2026. And I think with a solid deadline where you trade all of these players, you prioritize players, prospects that have ETAs that are next season, perhaps players that can play right away this year or maybe early 2027. You prioritize players that are close to big league ready, if not already big league ready. You use whatever resources are available to you, and we don't know what that number is going to be, in the offseason to fill and patchwork some of the holes. You can be a competitive, relevant baseball team in 2026. I still think that is on the table. That is off the table if you don't get a solid return for all of these players. If you only trade Eugenio Suarez, if you choose to hold on to these other guys and go the qualifying offer compensatory pick route. That to me would be the first signal that 2026 is being flushed down the tubes. I'm not willing to go there yet until I'm given a reason to go there. This deadline is test number 1. So for me personally, I would view this as a failure if they don't trade all of these players, if they don't prioritize a return for 2026, because all of these moves that I'm making along this chessboard right now are to try to keep winning in 2026. Why wouldn't you? Somebody give me a good reason why you wouldn't want to try to compete in 2026. While you have Corbin Carroll, while you have Ketel Marte, while you have Geraldo Perdomo, while you have Gabby Moreno behind the plate, while you have a young player like Jordan Lawler, and we don't know what Jordan Lawler is yet. We're not sure. It's all hypothetical. What we have seen at the big league level leaves a lot to be desired, but I'm not going to give up on the kid just yet. He could be your third baseman in the future, could be a future all-star to go along with that group of players that's got a bunch of all-stars added together. You want to give up on a season of those guys? You want to give up on a season of Ketel Marte in his prime? You want to give up one of the cheaper years on the Corbin Carroll extension? You just signed Geraldo Perdomo to a nice extension this past spring, right? These are the cheaper years of that deal. This is when you're going to have the most financial flexibility in many regards. And you want to just give that away? I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I am not giving away seasons. If Corbin Carroll was a free agent at the end of the year and he was 33, if Ketel Marte was at the tail end of his career, he had maybe 2 years left on his deal and he was 35, 36, perhaps we're having a different conversation because perhaps those guys are also getting moved and you are completely stripping it down. I'm going to have an all-star right fielder, an all-star second baseman, and oh, by the way, both of those guys can be MVP candidates. A potential all-star catcher, should be an all-star shortstop, I've got 4 all-stars on my team to go along with a starter like Ryan Nelson, who I think we all believe in, a starter like Brendan Pfaadt, who I don't think any of us are ready to give up on yet. We want to see an offseason of tweaks, finish the year strong, make some adjustments to your arsenal. You can do that when you're a young pitcher. There's too much here to just say, yeah, you know what, 2027 is our year. We're just going to give up on 2026. Why? So Ketel Marte can be a year older? So Corbin Carroll can be a year older? Nothing about 2027 is guaranteed. Nothing. You don't know if Ketel Marte is going to be the same player in 2027 that he is this year. Heck, I can't even know for sure he's going to be that player next season. I'm assuming. I feel like it's a pretty good assumption. You can't just give away seasons. Not in a sport like baseball when there's 162 games every year and you're asking a fan base to devote their time, their energy, their money to go to the ballpark, to watch the games on TV. You want to have money to reinvest into your team, right? You got to field a competitive team. So I will not accept those of you out there that are reprioritizing for 2027. I think you are unfairly looking at this roster. I think you are unfairly looking at the opportunity that is presented right now to this organization. 2025 doesn't have to be a complete disappointment. It can mostly be a disappointment because, yes, I want to be playing October baseball if I'm the Diamondbacks. I want the highest payroll in the history of the organization to have led to a playoff berth. Yes, I would have liked that. We all would have liked that. That's not the reality, though. But it doesn't all have to be a disappointment. It can be more. You can do something with this. All you have to do is trade the guys. I saw a story this morning on MLB trade rumors. Lourdes Gurriel is generating interest. I would trade his contract. That's money that you can free up. You've got 4 potential all-stars on your roster already. 4. To go along with some young pitchers, some flexibility in your roster, plus whatever young players you bring in. So I am not willing to punt on 2026, and so it is a failure if the only move this team makes between now and next Thursday is trading Eugenio Suarez, and I hope that Mike Hazen understands this. I think he does. I think he understands what this opportunity is. I think he views this more the way I view it than some of you view it. I think that's what we're going to see here over the next week. I think you're going to see a guy looking more towards 2026 and building a team that can be relevant. I don't want to say super competitive, but relevant. Not Chicago, not Pittsburgh, not Miami, not Washington, not Colorado. You can't do that. You've got too much talent on this team to do that. You have enough talent on this team to where if you can do just enough this offseason and do just enough right now here at the trade deadline, you can make those moves in the offseason and you can field a team that could potentially be a buyer at next year's deadline. Maybe, maybe not.
Let me ask you this question. We talked about it, honestly, in the morning meeting today. The Padres are shopping Dylan Cease, and the conversation was why. And we see it more in baseball now where you trade rentals, trying to get a few years of control. Is that something you would consider? A younger player at the big league level who is under a few years of team control so you could get 2-3 years for a Geno rental? Let's say Boston was interested in Geno. Let's say they're one of the 12 teams, and they're willing to give you one of their young outfielders they're not going to use. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I think it's hard, and we'll use the Dylan Cease example. I think it's hard to do things like that. You just were throwing darts at a dartboard. You're like, what if the Red Sox traded Jarren Duran for Dylan Cease because they need pitching? The Duran rumors just won't go away. What if they could do something like that? Those deals are always fun. They're great social media fodder. But this goes back to my principle. You don't make big splashes at the deadline. It's hard to do, right? And I think an example of the move that you're talking about, this organization did when they traded Jazz for Zach Allen. But at the time, that was prospect for prospect. And you can make those types of moves because those aren't big splashes. Those are prospect for prospect type moves. And so while, yes, I think creativity is useful this time of year, and creativity in general can get you out of some sticky situations, it's hard to do that. You're under a crunch. You have to get this stuff done by July 31st. And so if that type of deal presents itself, I think that would be intriguing and enticing to Mike Hazen. But I also think borderline or at baseline, he has to move these guys. These guys have to move. Naylor's got to go. Suarez has to go. One of the pitchers has to go. I think both pitchers have to go. Figure it out. Use openers every day. I don't care. Move both of those guys if they have value. If they're getting more than the qualifying offer compensatory pick, you need to move those guys. Gurriel could move. Maybe a team calls on a catcher. I don't know. Reliever.
But you find out. You make a move. No matter what, this team has to do what it has to make sure that they can get pieces for next year and the year after that. But then my question just, to me, makes sense of if I could add big league talent now that I could get control of, which I think is challenging to do because you're right, clock's ticking, you only have a week.
Well, and that's why, not to cut you off, but that's why one of our priorities when talking about what we want to see this team do, I've emphasized prospects that are close. Because I think that's your way of doing that. You want more. What you're saying is you want more of a known commodity, right? I want somebody who's maybe played a couple seasons in the bigs, not somebody who hypothetically is ready for the big leagues. I want to be able to go to their baseball reference page and see some numbers of them performing at the big league level, right?
Exactly.
I get that. But to me, I think the way you do this, because the other end of the spectrum is you get a bunch of lottery tickets. I think you go right down the middle and you get prospects that are really, really close. Because I think you get what you're looking for. You get those cost-controlled players. You're able to build a rotation that way if you emphasize pitching. And you get players that for one reason or another just haven't cracked the big league roster, but are right there ready, if not, should be in the big leagues, right? Chase Petty should probably be in the big leagues. The problem is Cincinnati doesn't have an opening in their rotation. They've got two guys on their injured list that should be in their rotation. So it's just a matter of, can they thread this needle if they chose to go this way of getting those players that are close, getting those players that everybody in baseball thinks, man, if a roster spot opens up, that person should be in the big leagues today. Can they do that? To me, I think they can. I think when we get done with this, if they trade all of the players that I think they're going to trade between now and next Thursday, I think we are talking about a team that got 2 or 3 players that could immediately play this season or at some point in 2026. And I think if you do that, you've gotten a jump start on the 2026 offseason before it's even happened. Helps Mike Hazen. What have I always said? You can't make big splashes at the deadline. You make big splashes in the offseason. You can't transform your entire roster in one offseason either. So you got to do a little bit now to save you some work on the back end of this offseason. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, the Phoenix Suns. How bad really does the future for this team look? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The town of Tucson thanks our brave first responders on the North Rim for keeping us safe. Because of your dedication, Tucson and the South Rim remain open to welcome visitors. Come enjoy cool mountain weather, breathtaking hikes, top-notch restaurants, and comfortable lodging just minutes from the Grand Canyon. Whether you're seeking adventure or relaxation, Tucson is your gateway to it all. Thank you, first responders, for making these experiences possible. Visit Tucson, where your Grand Canyon adventure begins.
Make memories you'll cherish for years to come. Join Miss Appleberry, JJ, Cody, Nina, and Cece for a lively Melon Patch musical adventure in this exciting interactive live show. Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, October 5th at the Arizona State Fair. Sing along. Dance along. Play together. Tickets on sale now at azstatefair.com and include Arizona State Fair admission. It's a celebration of connection and childhood wonder. Coco Melon Sing Along Live inside the Coliseum at the Arizona State Fair.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible.
Learn more at globalcu.org.
Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
If you don't have gas in your home, but something doesn't smell good. Ew, what's that smell? If it smells like rotten eggs, there could be a leak in your neighborhood. Now what do I do? If you suspect a leak, move fast, call 911 and Southwest Gas. But I don't have natural gas in my home. Gas lines are buried all around, so even if you don't have gas. I know, call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler here at Shane Company. Come on in, feel at home, and let's find your dream engagement ring. I'm proud to work for a company that puts customers first and lets them shop the way they want to. See, we believe shopping for an engagement ring should be fun without any of the pressure. We don't work on commission, so finding your dream ring is truly on your terms. We'll be right by your side as your friend and jeweler to help you find a ring more beautiful than you imagined and stick to your budget too. We have all of the styles and all of the smiles. You can even watch our in-house jewelers working their magic inside your neighborhood store. It's that kind of care and craftsmanship that makes Shane Company's free lifetime warranty the best in the business, saving you thousands over time and giving you peace of mind. No appointment necessary, or check us out at shaneco.com. Because a friend knows when you're ready, you're ready. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
I referenced it earlier in the program. There was a story this morning on ESPN.com from Tim Bontemps that ranked the 14 teams that are rebuilding, or at least the 14 teams that missed the playoffs last season, and discussed how close they were to championship contention. Now, in the interest of fairness, I will read the note that this story has with it. Our rebuild rankings are not based on where rosters stand right now. Having more present-day talent doesn't automatically mean you're further along in a rebuild. This list focuses on the combination of current talent and future upside to create the kind of championship alchemy teams are hoping to discover. With that in mind, they had the Phoenix Suns all the way down at the bottom, 14 of 14. Mentioned that they had 8 players under 25 years old, 0 tradable first-round picks, 3 players on rookie-scale contracts, and then talked about the strategy. Is it working? The estimated return to relevance. And I think the estimated return to relevance is the important quote here. Quote, not anytime soon, which for rival teams in possession of the Suns' future first-round picks is a fascinating development. Perhaps in a couple of years, Ishbia and the franchise can begin to rework the roster around Booker as some of the current money comes off Phoenix's books, end quote. I couldn't disagree with this assertion more. I couldn't disagree with the Suns being ranked 14 out of 14 on this list more. Now, maybe I've been drinking the Kool-Aid. Maybe it's because I like Brian Gregory and I'm rooting for him, and I like Jordan Ott and I'm rooting for him. But I think those two guys matter in this. I think what they've done matters. Getting Kaman Malawach was a coup. It was a nice move from them. Getting Jalen Green, who may or may not be the starting point guard. Getting Dylan Brooks. Buying out Bradley Beal's contract. Saving yourself that tax space. These are all good moves. Ask yourself this question. Would you rather be the Phoenix Suns today, or would you rather be the New Orleans Pelicans? Would you rather be the Phoenix Suns today, or would you rather be the Sacramento Kings? Would you rather be the Phoenix Suns today, or would you rather be the Chicago Bulls? Those are just 3 teams that are in front of them in the standings. And I'll tell you what, some of those teams, I would rather be the Phoenix Suns. Now, maybe I'm too close to it. But guess what? I think Tim Bontemps and this ESPN story is missing a very important point. They have Devin Booker. They have Devin Booker in his prime. Do the Chicago Bulls have a Devin Booker? Do the New Orleans Pelicans have a Devin Booker? Do any of these teams have a player of that caliber? Do any of them? What does Sacramento have? They traded De'Aaron Fox. I think we're missing the point here.
The only reason they are on the list where they are is the lack of picks. It is the only reason.
The only reason that you can put them as low down as you put them is because you are putting a weight on them not controlling their first round pick for a couple of years.
And that's it.
That's it. That is it.
Talent-wise, there are 10 teams I'd take him over on that list. Legitimately. I think it's more than that.
I just think they have the one thing that everybody searches for. You search for a superstar.
They have it.
The Suns have it already. The Suns aren't doing what all these other teams are doing. Hey, New Orleans. How's it working out with Zion Williamson being your star? Drafted him number 1 overall. Has he ever been the superstar that you've needed him to be over the years?
Never.
Sacramento.
He doesn't seem to care either.
Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox. Traded him. Tyrese Halliburton. Traded him. Suns, they have their star. Do the Bulls have a star? That's an ingredient. That's a recipe. And not just an aging star. Not just a star that's on the back nine of his career. No. A Devin Booker who is in the prime of his career. At the peak of his career. I couldn't disagree with this more. Is it a bad situation? Yeah. They have a big hole to dig out of. Guess what? It's easy to dig out of that hole if you have a big shovel. They do, because they have a superstar. They have Devin Booker. And I'm sorry, I'm not dealing with you Devin Booker haters today. I am not entertaining it. Devin Booker is a superstar. Whether you like it or not, he is. And I can't wait to see what a Devin Booker who has to lead a team, a Devin Booker who's back to being the face of the franchise, who doesn't have the distractions of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. It's him leading the charge. I can't wait to see what that Devin Booker looks like. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We got one more before we get out of here on a Thursday. It's the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. We'll get to them next. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, September 6th, with special guest Gene Dawson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit lincolnpark.com.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that. Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. At the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. See your local Valley Hyundai dealer. Offers end July 31st. Call 714-568-7676 for details.
That'll be 30 even.
That's 90 points! Sorry, that was a lot. Now that I'm getting 3 times the points on food and fuel with the Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card, I get a little too hyped sometimes.
Cool. Would you like your receipt?
In the bag! Sorry, in The bag, please.
Learn more about the everyday, everywhere Navy Federal More Rewards American Express card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey listeners, it's Vince DeLisio with the Varsity Sports Show. Saturday, we continue our fall sports preview as we head to a place that's near and dear as part of the first team of broadcasters for Spirit Football. That's right, I'll be out at Ottawa University in Surprise. We'll preview football, soccer, cross country, volleyball, tennis, golf, basketball, wrapping up with a visit with Athletic Director Kevin Steele. It's OUAZ week on the Varsity Sports Show, Saturday morning, 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Back to wrap up the Thursday edition of the program here on KDUS AM 1060. We got the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan has them for us. Take it away, my friend.
Some sad news to start the leftovers. Unfortunately, Hulk Hogan passed away this morning at age 71.
A wrestling icon. I don't think we have modern professional wrestling, and I think I've mentioned this before on the program once or twice, but I'll remind everybody if I haven't. I am a massive pro wrestling fan, so a tough day for those of us who have loved pro wrestling since we were kids, and I watch it religiously now. My daughter has gotten into it. She's watching it with me, and so it's just great joy there. There is no modern wrestling. There isn't a TV deal with Netflix, and this being what it is without Hulk Hogan. I mean, just a iconic superstar of his time, crossed over into TV, into movies, into pop culture. I mean, you don't need to be a wrestling fan to have known who Hulk Hogan was. Now, Hulk had his fair share of outside of the ring scandals that tarnished his legacy, that tarnished who he was as a person. And I'm not going to litigate those here on the air today. Complicated person in many regards, but somebody who to the wrestling world at the time changed everything for the wrestlers, changed the way that business operated. So a sad day for those of us who love professional wrestling to see somebody that meant a lot to the growth of what we all love to consume every week in professional wrestling. So yeah, sad day, 71 years old. They're apparently a cardiac arrest situation. Saw some reports of lots of ambulances and cop cars around his house, and they rushed him to a hospital, and unfortunately were not able to save him. There was some eerie comments made earlier in the week about his health, so everybody was kind of worried about where his health was. And over the last couple of years, his health has deteriorated. And unfortunately, with a lot of wrestlers from that era, 71 is on the older side, right? We see a lot of wrestlers die young from that era, from that time.
The physical toll.
The physical toll. Unfortunately, some of the drug use, right? Just a lot of things that everybody turned a blind eye to during that era that now doesn't happen. But yeah, Hulk, a icon in the industry, in the business. Again, I'm not going to litigate the outside of the ring stuff that is bad and tarnishes his reputation, but a very sad day for the professional wrestling world today.
Two-time Gold Glover and former Diamondback Nick Ahmed has retired from baseball, calling it a career.
Yeah, 12 big league seasons,
12
I believe.
Big league seasons. So he's got the gold card.
He does. 2 Gold Gloves with the Diamondbacks. I believe leads all of Diamondbacks history in defensive WAR.
Really?
I believe I saw that on social media, and I'm repeating the statistic correctly. Just an absolutely outstanding defender. If a ball was hit to Nick Ahmed, you just assumed it was an out.
No, he was a complete pro. You know, it wasn't always he wasn't going to give you the best offensive output, but you knew what you were getting. He was like you said, he ate everything up. It was hit his way. You knew it was an out.
You knew it was an out. Absolutely, no doubt. Ball hit to him. It was an out. So hats off to a solid career for Nick Ahmed, and hopefully whatever he chooses to do now in retirement. I mean, you've been playing baseball your whole life. Well, what are you going to do?
I've always wondered that. Always, like these guys who retire from Major League Baseball, the NFL, or anything. You've been doing that your entire life.
Been doing it since
what do you do now?
5 or 6.
Like Nick Ahmed has his summers.
Right.
Like what's he going to do over summer now?
The entire world is in the palm of his hand.
He can
do whatever he wants.
I was listening to Christian Yelich on a podcast, and he was talking about how many years he has left, and he said he's excited to experience summer. That really just kind of put it in perspective. Like that's a crazy thing to say.
You kind of forget that these guys have been doing this forever, and now they have to do something else.
Yeah, you just got to find something else. Bryce Harper yesterday hit home run number 350. Just kind of another notch on the belt of a Hall of Fame career.
I think he's trending towards a Hall of Fame career. Yeah, I think we're trending in that direction.
2-time MVP, LCS MVP. I think so.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to win a championship. I don't think it's like that.
How much does that help in baseball? It feels less than some of the other sports.
It doesn't.
It does help, but I don't think it's brought against you.
Mike Trout's going to be a Hall of Famer. Got nowhere close. It hasn't played the postseason in a decade.
But I think when you look at some guys, like the rings help Jeter and Ortiz.
No, I think what helps Jeter more is where he played. I don't think the rings help him. I think being the shortstop of the New York Yankees at a time where they were the talk of baseball, that helps Derek Jeter more than the rings do.
Okay, then I'll ask you.
Because unpopular opinion.
Do you think Buster Posey gets helped by 3 championships?
No, I think Buster Posey gets helped by the position that he played. I think Buster Posey, statistically, if you just looked at his numbers and didn't,
as a catcher,
and didn't factor in that he was a catcher, you'd be like, I'm not sure. It would probably be borderline. I then throw in that he was a catcher. I throw in that he played the toughest position defensively and put up those numbers.
And had an MVP.
You're like, slam dunk.
And I think Posey gets in. Once Mauer got in, you almost buckle Posey in there.
Yeah, I think the interesting one is going to be Yadier Molina. Because I don't think Yadi has the offensive numbers.
He doesn't.
I think he's more of a defensive guy, but I think
he was better defensively than both.
Right, and I don't know how that's going to be weighted.
How do you?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how the writers are going to value that.
It's gonna be interesting. The Baseball Hall of Fame is pretty interesting.
It's stupid sometimes. It's stupid
stupid
a lot of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
But just in baseball, it becomes very interesting of offensive output in baseball, like should look uniform.
Well,
but it really doesn't based on the position you play. Like second base, if you have an offensive output that's higher, it's easier to get in. Whereas first base, it's tougher. You need to have more.
Center field, shortstop, catcher, right? The toughest 3 positions to play defensively. If you are a average, slightly above average offensive player and you played elite defense at those positions, that's going to give you an advantage, right? I can think of the flip side of this is how long did it take for Edgar Martinez to get in because he didn't have the defensive side of his profile. He was a DH. And for the longest time, nobody wanted to put in somebody who was strictly a DH, who was strictly a hitter. He finally did get in, rightfully so, was one of the most prolific hitters in the game of baseball. And I'm sorry, he played a position. DH was a position. It was part of the lineup. He played it. He played it better than everybody else. Can't tell the story of the game and that position without talking about Edgar Martinez. So
he set a precedent.
Correct.
He set a precedent for other guys like Ortiz to get in and everything else. But the baseball end all be all here. The Baseball Hall of Fame is stupid at times.
It is stupid a lot of the time, but it is still fun. I very much enjoy getting into the debates on who should be a Hall of Famer.
And that's I stand by. That's why baseball's Hall of Fame is awesome. Like basketball's Hall of Fame. To me, too many people get it.
I don't care about the other Hall of Fames the way that I do baseball, but I have a bias because baseball is my favorite sport.
I care about the NFLs too. Like the fact, and don't even get me started, the fact that T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer is the biggest joke in the history of football. I don't even want to get into it.
We literally only have a minute, so I don't think you have
Felix Bautista's placed on the IL with a shoulder discomfort. Horrible timing for the Orioles.
He's not going to get traded now. That takes him off the table to get traded in the next week. And it didn't seem likely based on some of the reporting, but his name was being floated out there of a closer that teams were going to call on. Drives up the price for David Bednar, drives up the price for Emmanuel Clase. It drives up the price for Duran. Griffin Jack's there in Minnesota. A lot of those
Minnesota,
closers.
If you want a bullpen arm, could be a team that gets a big return.
You want the AL version of the Arizona Diamondbacks? It's the Minnesota Twins, the deadline. That's going to do it for us here in the Thursday edition of the program. Jim Rome, he's coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Enjoy your vacation. We'll talk to you next on Tuesday. You got just me tomorrow. Everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
AM 1060 KDUS